All right, here we go. I just couldn't take that red machine anymore with with all these asshole Republicans, and so now we've got the Carina out, and we also have the other one. This is a Carina base, but Lapaboni parts, and a variety of them with my favorite kind of boiler, and then the semi-gold plated, not really true gold, plated group head, so it's pretty neat. So what we're going to do, we're going to make some out of this baby. We're going to use this too. This is kind of an aftermarket, but it does match in there. So we're going to use that one and talk about how crazy they are. Anyway, I'll have a great one with these ice guys. I have all, I figured out how you get rid of them easy. But they've been, trying to get places, but they've been blocked here quite a bit. So, have you ever seen though anyone got punkier than these guys with their little masks? They won't show bags. You can go on Occupy Democrats. They have all the clips of them beating up pregnant women, dragging them, grabbing people, bringing their kids to school, leaving the kids on the street, taking kids while they're walking their dog, letting the dog run all over the streets, almost get hit by cars. It's just insane how evil they are. And what kind of people do this? So we just got to remember, they're collaborators, and just like after World War II, the French had the right idea. So these collaborators aren't going to last long once this is. And we all know now that Republicans are all, like, literally every single one a criminal. Yeah, just as, it's not even hard to figure out. They won't stop any crime. They're the ones who could stop all these crimes, but they ran for it. The Republicans called an end to their little session and ran home to hide. And of course, they get totally ridiculed if they try to have any meetings, because people have finally figured out they're all complete liars. They're pedophiles. They're grifters. They're thieves. They're, they do everything bad. And yeah, they're just so phony. I always like that Mike Johnson guy always acts like, oh, well, I'm Mr. Christian in church. He lives in Washington in a house with like 6 other men, which is a little weird. Why don't you just have an apartment? You have plenty of money. And yeah, he's obviously one of these guys who goes out and does that toe tapping in the bathrooms because he doesn't want to be seen. But because, yeah, he has to be anonymous, because anyone that meets him is going to know right who he is and realize, it's no big deal. He should just, you just have to be honest and not diss, but he's dissing all these things, so that's why it's a big deal. But anyway, he's probably the biggest weasel, right? He has that fake smile all the time. I think he has one of those plugs in, that's why he's smiling. But anyway, hang on. This machine really steams nicely. It's not too loud. Does a great job of steaming. 3-hole tip always works best. And it's not hard to steam. I just think people try to steam too little of water, or they just listen to too many people that really don't know much. There we go. Let that steam. This machine's hitting pressure, so we'll go ahead and turn that back. Let the other one come back up. Yeah, so all these Republicans, if you want to be in the closet or gay, that's fine. But they're so phony and diss people and try to make laws against them. That's why it's so lame. And then it just is. And then I figured out the whole other thing. This whole Epstein and Trump and all these guys. The whole thing is Trump's little wife, or whatever she is, she was giving Trump Epstein snowballs. So I figured that whole thing out. That was pretty easy. All right, we're back up to pressure. Hold on, I'm going to put a little water in this mug. Lucha likes it like an Americano or Duplo or something, whatever name you want to give it. Let's go ahead and try this baby. Yeah, so all those guys, they're just so rotten. There's no reason really to give them. And those ice guys, they're just all punks. And but I have a video. I scared them away with butter sandwiches, with the crust cut off, and I rounded the corners so that it wouldn't hurt them. You know how they're pretty punky and babyish. They're only good if they have like 8 guys and they tackle someone from behind, like for no reason. You know, that's how punky. But any of you ice guys, you're all punks. I challenge any of you to come around me. I've never actually had to fight anyone in my life, but I have 3 words. That's all I need to say to them, and they'll be crying and running home. It's true. And of course, you just wave that butter sandwich at them, they get really scared. It's just shocking. Yeah, they're afraid of little sandwiches, and yeah, they're just punks. They're Gestapo guys. That's who they are. They're those nasty brown shirt Gestapo type people. So we're gonna, once we'll be rid of them after a while. They think that it's going to be this or that, but they're going to be collaborators. Everyone's rising up everywhere. All this phony stuff, and they try to surround like they're tough, and they're fake pull-ups or whatever. They didn't even do them right, and it was all edited. They can't do nothing. It's just funny to see them talk, and then they have a tantrum. And of course, the old hippies, 90-year-old hippies, are causing all the trouble. That's even better, isn't that good? Not just any hippies, but the 90-year-old hippies are causing trouble. There we go. I guess I could be a hippie. I would have been a younger. I was just probably a little late for the true hippiness, but I had long hair. I was probably a hippie, probably the realest hippie surfer there was. But yeah, the hippie surf, yeah, the old hippies, 90-year-old hippies are causing them trouble. So that shows how punky they really are, that 90-year-old walking with long hair is what they're afraid of. Really, they're afraid of everything. They just, and now they're really afraid because once Democrats win the House, it's going to drop down. That's what they're really afraid of. That's why they like to cheat. It's not about anything else, but they know that the minute Democrats, who aren't the best, but a lot better than they are, once they get in, yeah, they're going to enforce the laws. Yeah, look at that. There's a nice latte. There's it. And this machine, which is the classic, it doesn't have even a gauge. It's just the thing, and it works so freaking good. But there we go. Another 2, and a great little story. Just remember, what's her name? Anyway, she is, yeah, that's what the whole thing is. She gave little Donnie Epstein snowball. That's why he's pissed off. They traded snowballs. See you later.